Hi, St. Andrew. With time on my hands, I've been getting some things I've postponed for a while, and this week it was my socks drawer. A couple days ago, I opened it up with a little bit of struggle because it was mighty full and pulled out a couple dozen of socks I really had no reasonable expectation of ever wearing. I figured I could pass them on to someone who could use them. Reminded me of a fellow I met years ago when I worked at a church in San Francisco. He was destitute, um, looking for something to eat, actually. And his other big concern was he just didn't have a pair of socks without holes in them. So we walked down to Stonestown, went to a sporting goods store there, and I gave him the run of the place. Buy the socks you need. He did a good job of shopping. He found insulated cushioned socks, bought several pairs of them. Made me a little grumpy, although I didn't mention it, because he spent about as much as I would have for lunch for a colleague and I. But I suspect that lunch wouldn't have pleased us as much as those socks pleased him. Simple thing, but mighty important when every pair of socks you have has holes in it. I got to thinking about that, and actually I went back to the socks drawer and I pulled out another 31 pairs of socks that I really don't need and added them to the collection to pass on to someone else. Maybe part of this virus is going to be the way it sweeps through our lives, sweeping out redundancies and extravagances and small hoardings that we've held on to. I'm not going to miss those socks. But I got to think a little bit too about the things I've been holding on to in my mind. I've been using some familiar tools to deal with the frustrations, not just coming up in these recent weeks and months about the pandemic that's coming our way, but about the whole range of frustrations, the way things are going, and it's not my way. And the tools I've been using: impatience, resentment, self righteousness, and judgment and indignation, all bound together by a good measure of self pity. And gosh, if I didn't need all those socks, maybe I don't need all of those thoughts and feelings cluttering up my mind. Seems to me we need to make space for hope and for courage. And we may find in ourselves making space for that in the lives of others by giving away some of the things that we've held on to. And maybe we can make space for those things for ourselves by letting go of some of the things we've held on to. I know I can be constructive without being judgmental. I can be hopeful without being critical. And I can be flexible facing a future I really don't know or understand right now without holding on to self righteousness and self pity. It's time for spring cleaning in my house and in my brain. And maybe this virus is just the thing to do it. Stay safe, stay well, God bless.